Chris, on this day 5, what additional detail do you have about the fighting on the ground there?
Heather, I have to say it feels a little bit like we're in some kind of a holding pattern, waiting for something big to happen, almost like a pause. But even as this pause happens, as you noted, the death tolls on both sides keep going up. It's awful. In Sderot today, one of the Israeli communities where there were massacres when the gunmen came across from Gaza, they were still pulling out bodies. There were people injured today in southern Israel from Gazan rocket strikes. And in Gaza itself, of course, as you alluded, there were also the count of people who are dying almost seems to be going up by 10, 20, almost every hour as new casualty figures come in from the Israeli airstrikes. One of the IDF spokesmen, the Israeli military spokesman, was talking today about 300,000 soldiers now poised on the border with Gaza, about to enter. He said that buildup is now almost complete.
We need to have all our capacities at hand. The aim is to dismantle Hamas's military capabilities so that at the end of this war, we'll make sure that for the next generation at least, Hamas won't have the ability to hurt even one single Israeli.
But there's a lot of questions about what exactly that means, denying Hamas its military capabilities. Just how much of an incursion is Israel thinking of? Or are they even thinking about trying to replace Hamas as the regime in charge of Gaza? And just what kind of consequences would that mean? How many losses would that bring about for Israel? Not to mention the fact that there are all those hostages, Heather, over 100 at least, that Hamas will undoubtedly use as human shields. How does Israel deal with that? And there are no answers at this point.
The answer right now is the airstrikes. They continue as we look at pictures of Gaza here as I speak to you, Chris. We're just getting word from UNRWA. That's the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees in the Near East. That is a relief agency, obviously, that 9 of its staffers have been killed in the airstrikes. It has been punishing, and there are tremendous concerns about how this could exacerbate the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. What is the latest that you're hearing about that?
Well, just as an example, just in one neighborhood of Gaza in the last few hours, more than 200 attacks from Israeli missiles, artillery shells. The university in Gaza City was also struck as well. And especially worrying, we're also hearing that there may only be a few hours of electricity left at the only generating station in Gaza for Gaza. Of course, the blockade you mentioned, no food, no fuel, no one coming in or out, and obviously in such a densely packed area. Remember, Gaza is something like the 2nd or 3rd most densely packed area in the world. There just aren't that many places for people to go, Heather, to escape this.
Chris, thank you. And we're going to be speaking to you hour by hour, so we will await further details in our next hour this morning. I appreciate this hour's reporting. Chris Brown, live with us from Jerusalem.